Welcome to self-discoverywisdom.com, formerly known as Self-Discovery Media. On these podcasts, you're going to hear people who speak from the heart. They've taken the journey in life. Many things have happened to them, but they've changed it to happening for them. And in their strength, their courage, they've discovered their abilities and their wisdom, and they are now sharing it here with you. Do enjoy each show. We bring it to you with love and knowing that it's going to help you on your journey of life. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Building Your Business right here at selfdiscoverywisdom.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy. My wonderful guest all the way from Australia is Tyson Sharp. We're going to be talking about business and spirituality and this wonderful program that he has called the Serving Circle and how it works. And, he's about self-connection, heightened consciousness, the courage to leap, and the Serving Circle and what it really means to support one another, to be there for each other, not in competition, not to pitch to one another, but to be that community, to be that village. He's at a space where heart and truth and transformation come alive. If you're reading this, chances are you're feeling that the call to create a business that sparks to your soul and flows from their very true essence. He says stepping into these paths often means letting go of an old story. If I fail, I'll lose everything. Am I safe where I am? Why risk it? Maybe later when the time feels right. We've all said it all along the line, and we let those fears kind of get in the way. He says these fears are real, but so is the pain of ignoring your inner calling. Your heart nudges you to that quiet GPS, guiding you one brave step at a time. Imagine waking up one day, doing what lights you up, flowing with purpose, creativity, soul-aligned service. That's not just a dream. It's your true direction. The world is waiting for you to rise, to lead, to make a difference by being fully you. Safety, comfort, and mediocrity ends here. It's time to embody the example of who came to be, and that's you. So that is so very, very important. And the Serving Circle is a platform flooded with content creators and become a community of spiritual business owners who find creative ways to help each other grow online. And they have a mission to heighten consciousness, to believe that creating a space where we reach and impact and support each other is really where everybody wins and everybody benefits. So we're going to be touching on all of that today. I'm always saying that nobody is going to buy from you until they buy you. And in this world where there's so much competition out there, people want to know that they're really connecting with the true essence of you and not a facade of what you think people want you to be. And that really is a journey to be able to step into that space, isn't it, Tyson? Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. And thanks for the intro. I was pleased. I was listening to that, very pleased and thinking, yeah, maybe I'm doing great work.
Exactly. You're on the right track, which is what is important. But, it is important, I think, that people understand you can buy a fancy site, you can buy ads, you can buy this and that, you can stand up in front of thousands of people and say all the right things. But if people don't feel you from the inside out, all you are is a salesperson. You're not a person who really wants to connect and have a business relationship, a relationship on any level, and really speak from who you are at the very core of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, when you speak, speaking from the core of who you are it's relatable.
Yeah.
People connect with those that are relatable. And yeah, maybe one time we're at a level of consciousness where we saw the perfect person with all the perfect things and the perfect family and think, oh my God, I want that and need that. How do I get it? But more and more these days, I think it might even be because of social media and with all of the highlights of your life and the filters and the people just are becoming more and more aware that that's not reality. It's not true. It's not honest. It's not heartfelt, And then finally someone does a live where they're like, look, this is what I'm struggling with. This is really what I feel when I wake up every morning. And this is kind of how I'm learning to deal with it. And I've learned these lessons along the way. But this is what I'm still going through. And people are like, I get that. I kind of feel like that too.
Exactly. And that's kind of where the camaraderie then comes out. All these people that, it looks perfect. You know how you look at a performer and it's overnight success. And then you look at their history, 10, 15 years being in the business, trying to get there. Or you look at somebody that started young in their success and lost themselves along the way, lost the very passion of what they did because somebody came along and marketed them to death, where they were no longer sharing their gift from that soul place. It was just in a commodity where they even lost connection with it.
Yeah. I think that what you say there, that soul place, I think we all have a place that we're all called to live a particular way.
Mm-hmm.
We're all called to live a particular level of authenticity, level of integrity, a level of courage, a level of compassion. There's something that's within us that is that calling. And I think, when you see someone who has all the perfect things and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
it's not that,
No.
it's definitely not that. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Bronnie Ware, but she has a book called The 5 Regrets of the Dying. She was
No, I don't know that one.
she's a palliative care nurse in Australia.
Mm.
And so she wrote a book after asking everyone, literally on their deathbed,
Mm-hmm.
what do you regret most? And really fascinating book, really, really fascinating. But
Yes.
one of the biggest regrets, the number one regret, was, and I'm paraphrasing, but it was the regret that they didn't live true to who they really are.
Yes.
Instead, they defaulted to the expectations of other people.
Yeah.
So they were all saying, "I wish I had the courage. I wish I had the courage to live
Mm.
the life that was truly me." Which to me gives me goosebumps every single time I
Yes.
say it, because
Yes.
that means there is a calling, there is a
Mm.
heart's, guidance of what you're called to live, what how you're called to be in life, what you're called to do, the kind of interactions you're meant to have with people. And people, and literally, they got nothing to lose. They're on their deathbed and they're like, I wish I had the courage to just do that thing, to be that person, to operate in that way. And that to me gives us insight. We're not on our deathbed. We can have the choice to
Yeah, so do
generate
it
that
now, folks.
courage.
And it's never too late, except for on your deathbed.
Yeah.
Right? It's like we prefer that you kind of redirect to this. I call it the cosmic nudge, nudge, wink, wink. And if you're not paying attention, the cosmic 2x4. It is always trying to guide us from the inside out. Are you hearing the voice? Are you hearing the wisdom? Are you feeling it? Do you understand what it's asking of you? And we only can find that when we center ourselves and go in and
Mhm.
allow, channel that wisdom, let it sit with you, understand what it means from how you feel the knowledge, not think the knowledge. As human beings, we think it all the time and we go round in spirals. When we feel the knowledge, we have the clarity of what is important in the moment. And
Yeah.
that's so very important, and we only get from the inside out. I'm always saying that we've been living our lives by societal expectations and dictation. We look at society today, and please tell me how that's working. Because we have more disconnected people, more angry, fearful, depressed, suicidal, lost people than ever, I think, in the history of time. And here we have all this wisdom at our fingertips. That why is that so? And because we're not being encouraged, unless you're on shows like this, to go in, let go of the facade, let go of the expectations, let go of the dictation, the hads, the shoulds, you must let go of all of that. Go in and be honest and truthful with yourself, with your inner voice. Connect your soul, your heart, and your spirit, and your very essence of being, and understand who you are and what you're here to do. But that is that journey of self-discovery, to know what your wisdom is. And it's accessible to everybody if you're willing to take that journey.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Because I think what you're highlighting here is that life will guide you there. You don't have to
Absolutely.
really do anything. You don't have to necessarily,
Pay attention.
Yeah, you just have to pay attention of what excites you most.
Mm,
What's life guiding you towards in terms of just this internal guidance system. I think your soul speaks to you through excitement,
hmm
and sometimes that excitement is scary.
hmm
It does take courage to overcome what you're saying, the expectations, these certain ways of how we judge ourselves and what we're
Yes.
attached to because of what society says is successful. And then if I'm successful, finally I'll be loved, and finally I'll be
hmm
worthy of receiving that love and attention and affection that I want. There's just those sort of programs are kind of built into,
Yes.
you know,
Our
as a
DNA.
as a child. But
Yeah.
you know, that's what we have to really. That's the journey of overcoming that and saying,
Yeah.
okay, well, that's not the real me. And I think everyone can relate to that. Everyone can relate to some kind of pattern, some kind of story, some kind of routine where they think I need to achieve X, Y, and Z so that I feel enough or worthy or
Yes.
loved within myself.
Validated. Yeah.
Yeah,
hmm And
yeah.
and that is again that societal dictation. And what is that societal dictation? It is to label you, compartmentalize you, and ultimately control you. Because when you surrender to that expectation, you will never push yourself beyond. You will never inquire. You will never explore. It's always living up to that expectation of what society says will validate you, that will make you more. And we
Mhm.
know, I mean, gosh, I've been doing this 13 years, 3,000 shows. The amount of people that chase that rabbit, that even succeeded, the six figures, the fame, the glory, the everything else, and then either to have the cosmic two by four or to suddenly wake up. Okay, I may have all of this, but I'm as miserable as hell.
Mhm.
I'm not doing anything that's coming from me. I'm just quote making everyone else fat, and where I'm feeling hungry. And the hunger is for purpose. The hunger is for something meaningful. The
Mhm.
hunger is where my heart and my soul and my spirit is connected to what I'm doing. It's not about the six figures. It's not about, all the accolades. It's about the enrichment and the abundance of our heart, soul, and spirit.
That's what it's about. I think, I really learned that a few years into my business. I started my coaching business around about 10 years ago, but I it was a few years into it where I was doing really well. I made my first 10K month. I was doing really, I was getting a lot of engagement on social media, really finding a groove
Mhm.
with all with the attention I was getting. And then something happened, probably the universe, two by four.
Mhm.
And like my business kind of fell apart. Like
Mhm.
everything happened at once where income dried up, clients dried up and leads. And I even had to give refunds to some clients through like really random circumstances like divorces and brain injuries and
Mhm.
things. And I was like, what the hell's happening?
Yeah,
What the hell is how is it possible that all these things were happening all at once?
right.
And I realized that what was coming up within me was a lot of fear, a lot
Mhm.
of shame, embarrassment, all these emotions. And I thought, it's so weird that these emotions are coming up because I'm trying to succeed in some way to avoid these emotions of shame, embarrassment, not feeling good enough, unworthiness, whatever. Because I was energetically attached to the opinions of other people, and I
Mhm.
needed to be perceived as a successful coach, a successful business owner, to feel that what you said, validation
Mhm.
in myself. And so I instead of trying to build a business to avoid those feelings, I went on the journey of just feeling those feelings. And
Yes.
I started meditating. I started going with the inward journey, as you said. It's all from within. And I just started meditating and giving myself permission to feel all those feelings
Mm-hmm.
and realizing that they're all coming up because they're coming out. They're coming up because they're ready to be seen and healed. And that's actually, first day I did this, I sat in the chair for about 6 hours, just breathing,
Mm-hmm.
just releasing stuff with tears, with everything. And that's actually where I had the insight for the serving circle. I had
Mm-hmm.
an insight that said, hey, if you build a community and you just fall in love with being of service, then
Mm-hmm.
everything else will take care of itself.
Yes.
The clients, income, collaborations, opportunities, it'll all happen in perfect timing, even if your mind can't see it. And if your mind has another expectation, like it'll all flow as long as you build that community and you enjoy being of service. And
You
that's what I
allow.
did.
You
Yeah.
allow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I shifted everything I had in terms of my business and group and stuff and started growing the serving circle, and that's really where it all came about.
Well, you listened. You allowed. So many people, there's that funny thing with somebody meditating. Come on, meditation. I haven't got all day. And it's and it for a lot of people, it's like, well, I'm doing everything right. Why isn't it happening? Because you're doing and not being.
Mm,
And we can't be until we attach to ourselves. Otherwise, we're just doing. And so you allowed yourself to go through the emotions. You allowed yourself to go through your own self-discovery without expectation, without dictation. And then the serving circle came into your mind when without going, well, I'm going to do this and that. It was like allowing it to reveal itself and where it wanted to go. And then, like a puzzle, now the pieces make sense. I know where to put them.
yeah.
But it is in that surrender of allowing and not dictating. I've learned through my life. Every time I have an idea with my head, my soul laughs. And it's like if it's right, you'll feel it. Like at the core, you'll know I'm with you. But if it's wrong, go on that journey. You're gonna land on your backside,
Yeah,
right?
you're gonna
Right?
find out
Because you're
anyway.
not listening to the soul. But when I listen to the soul, and I know I can feel it at the core. I don't know why I need to take this path, but I do. It feels right. And that's all I need to know. Because
Mm,
what I need to know as I walk this path will be revealed. But we've come to this thing that we need to know everything up front, the map, how to, this, that, etc. Like the whole, business plan for 5 years. No, when you have an idea, there's a certain structure you start putting into place, but you've got to allow those pieces to come together and stop dictating because you're dictating from the old paradigm, not from the new platform.
I think when I think from what you're saying, people can get people can need the plan to feel safe. They
Mm-hmm.
need sort of, I will take this, heart's leap. I'll take this action step as long as I know steps 3, 4, 5, and 6
Yes.
are going to get me X, Y, and Z. And they see that as they see that as a level of safety.
Sure
And
footing. No, it isn't, because you're walking on
yeah,
the edge of the cliff.
yeah. So it's kind of the courage to take that first step, knowing that once I take that step, the next one will be revealed. Then the next
Yeah.
one will be revealed. Like you said, if your mind has a particular plan, you know, yeah, sure, it might be the plan that's in your highest, but odds are it's not. I think when I this is one thing I've been talking with my clients with is if you do have an excitement, like your heart's really guiding you to do
Mm-hmm.
something that's exciting, approaching it with the openness of your mind doesn't know why. You don't know why it's
Exactly.
exciting. You have the
Exactly.
openness and the curiosity that says, maybe I'm meant to achieve exactly what I see in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's exciting because once I take this first action step, and another tangent action step is going to be more revealed to me that's in my highest, but I needed to take the first step. Or maybe I took this first step towards this exciting path, but it's only because of what I get to learn or who I get to meet or the other opportunities that come my way or something. And I love that approach to be open and curious as to this feels exciting in my heart, feels exciting in my soul. So take that leap with courage, but not know why. you know.
I'm going to give an example of that as somebody I interviewed from the Mission 262 platform, which is a book of 262 people and women in there who have contributed. And I've got to interview about 50 of them. This one woman was a designer, and she had a son with cerebral palsy. And then one day he came to her and said, Mom, I really would love to wear jeans at school. But because of his condition, it was really, really hard for him. And so she kind of wept and thought, oh, God, my son can't just wear jeans. And then she kind of bastardize a pair of jeans and try to make it for him that it would be easy for him to use. And then it set her on a path. Well, if my son has this, what about others? And she spent a year interviewing people from all walks of disability. And they said, nobody designs for us. Nobody takes into consideration we're in a wheelchair or this or that, etc. And then she said about how to design for them. And she did a whole program for Tommy Hilfiger. And she said, like, put it all together. And then she went in there, 3 minutes in, they said, stop, it's okay, you got a deal. And she said, no, I've spent months putting this together. You're going to listen to the whole presentation. Well, not only Tommy Hilfiger signed up, so did other companies, but it ended up her opening up a company for other companies to come to her, other designers to come to her to learn how to design to be inclusive. This all came from her little 8-year-old boy, Oliver, saying, I want a pair of jeans. So that's the thing in life, is that's what I called the nudge, nudge, wink, wink. She didn't wait for the cosmic 2x4. She inquired, well, what does this mean? And she went on that journey and she made that discovery. And then when she did go there, she had the full amount of knowledge that she needed in order to take that step. And that's the thing, that something's tapping you on the shoulder. Pay attention. You don't need to know everything all up front. Part of the wisdom comes from the journey you're going to take. And you have to take that leap of faith, blind, deaf, and dumb, in order to see, hear, and feel. Just go with it. Go with it and pay attention. Take notes.
Yeah, because like I hear that story and my mind goes to, everyone has kind of that calling.
Yes.
And often you're not meant to have everything revealed to you, because you get to condition the inner resourcefulness of courage, because you don't know.
No.
I don't know what the steps are going to be. I don't know what it's going to look like around the corner or on the other side.
And that's exciting.
Yeah. Therefore, I get to build courage and faith and strength and whatever comes along the way, creativity. Like, you get to condition these inner resources, because you don't know all of the steps. You know, you don't know the path exactly as it's meant to unfold. But that's the point of the journey as well, is who you get to become. You get to become the version of you who is courageous, who can take leaps, who can take the action steps, even if you don't know steps 2, 3, or 4.
Exactly. So, you discover your courage, your strength, your abilities. My God, I didn't know. I started 13 years ago when somebody asked me to be a podcast on their network. I go, what's a podcast? Back in 2012, there weren't too many around. I did live for 13 months under her network before starting my own. And believe me, when you're doing live, a lot can go wrong. It was a great training ground. Even starting my own, there really were hardly any others out there doing it. I had to wing it. And kind of through the years, oh, that works better. That works better. I'll change this. I'll change that, because you learn as you go. These people that I knew to have the whole business plan for the next 10 years, you actually are missing the point. You need to know as you walk into it, okay, what is in my repertoire, in my skill set that I can use or apply at this moment in discovery. It's like a scientist making a discovery of something. Do they know even what it is or what it's going to do? They explore and discover, oh my God, it does this. Oh, look, it does that. Oh, it can be used as this. Why are we not looking at our own lives in that way?
Yeah, and in fact, if the researcher or scientist is looking for a particular outcome, then it's invalid.
It is.
The experiment's invalid. That's why we do double blind experiments. Or that's why they say, the researcher isn't meant to be consciously aware of what they're looking for.
They have maybe a need. And this is why kind of wartime has always brought out things like, the internet and TV and all these types. It came from a kind of a need. And then from that need, something is discovered. But look
Yeah.
at the wind turbines. Everybody talks about the wind turbines and how they harm animals. Well, I think it's France that have come up with wind turbines that are encased. And they turn around, they do the same thing, but they won't harm anything.
Mm.
Right? So it's like there is always a solution when you're willing to look at a problem from all aspects and get out of your own way.
Yeah. I love that how you shared your podcasting journey. Is there a particular funny story or example you go to when you think of things that went wrong during a particular episode?
Well, there's one that comes to mind is I'm an asthmatic. And sometimes I can intake air and it creates a spasm. Doesn't happen often, but it happened during an interview. And I was interviewing America's number one mum. She's a birth 13 children, mother of 15. Right. So one of the things I didn't realize, because I'd never seen myself have an asthma attack, is I know that you contort because everything about you tightens up because you're gasping for breath. But I'm watching myself contort and I look scary. I'm scaring the hell out of me. And she says, "It's all right, dear. It's okay. Take your time, dear. Sorry, just breathe, dear. I'm with you. Don't rush." And like, thank God it was her, right? And because she was somebody else may not have been able to handle it that way. You never know what is going to happen. And even on my own interviews, unless it's something really, really big that I can cut out, most of the time I own it. Internet drop, this happened, whatever. Own it. I did cut that out. I didn't want people to be horrified, looking at me having an asthma attack. But I think the thing is, go with the flow. Shoot happens, right?
Mm.
And there are things that happen while you're doing anything in life, and it's own it, adjust, and carry on.
Mm. I find because I've been running Serving Circle, doing lives. We run collaborative calls every week, and I find it interesting how at the start, if something went wrong, or not to plan, I'd freak out a little bit, heart would be racing, trying to fix it, trying to do whatever. Now, if I like the other day, I jumped on the Zoom and got kicked out of the room because my internet was unstable. Something got kicked out of the room. I'm like, it doesn't even affect me anymore. I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
wait for it to come back on, whatever. The people in the room will be fine. The
I was
fun.
being interviewed with someone from New Zealand the other day, all right? And she got kicked out. She's interviewing me. So I just carried on conversing until
Mhm.
she came back. She can cut it out or she can keep it in. But I think if we constantly, oh, it's got to be perfect or nobody's going to believe it's valid. Bull. If people are
Yeah.
feeling what you're having to say and this little interruption or faux pas or something happens, it happens. It just adds to the authenticity of what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah. I think one of the funniest ones that I had was I just got onto the Zoom call. I was running the collaborative call. There's probably 30 something people on, and they're all looking to meet each other. And before every collaborative call at the start, I'll do a meditation because I want everyone to be in a grounded, resourceful place so that we can
Yeah.
find creative ways to help each other. And so I was getting to the end of the meditation and everyone was feeling, this heartfelt energy. And I was saying, and I said, hey, send that love out to whoever you feel needs it. Send love out to everyone on this call. And then I said, and send love to me because I think I'm going through an earthquake. And everyone could see my camera shaking. And then I cut out, and my internet cut out, my electricity cut out. And it was only a small tremor. We don't get a lot of earthquakes in Australia or in Melbourne where I'm based. So it was only a small tremor. I've never felt that before, but I knew it wasn't going to be anything significant, but my internet did cut out.
Yeah.
But everyone else in the room, in the Zoom room, didn't know what had happened to me.
Right. Is it being
Like,
swallowed up?
yeah, all they see is my camera going crazy, and then I say, "Hey, I think I'm going through an earthquake." Then I cut out, and they're all like freaking out.
No, well, the prayers were definitely flowing your way after
Yeah.
that, right?
But then I came back, a few minutes later once my internet restored, my power came back on, and some people were crying. They're like, didn't know what had happened. They, were worried about me or whatever. But that's one of the things where I'm like, I could not have predicted that to happen.
No,
You
no.
know,
And the thing
things
is,
will
I hope
happen.
you left it in because, again, it's a part of life. I think we don't teach people how to deal with hiccups,
Mm,
or even a crisis, because if we don't see people just handling it,
yeah.
then what we're not seeing, we're not giving them the permission how to handle it themselves, or the image of how to handle it themselves. And then people kind of freak out over something that could be really, really small, but all you need to do is like just take a deep breath. It's happening. We're going to deal with it. Don't worry about it. Don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah, I think I'm now for the last couple of years gotten really big into golf. And the saying in golf is one, shit will happen. Two, when it does, don't make it worse.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Don't make it
I know.
worse.
And there is always a reaction at the time. I'm a mother of three and a grandmother of 2.5, and stuff happens. And I've always been fortunate enough to be very calm in the moment. It always hits me later, right, when you start shivering and shaking. And you need to take that deep breath in the moment and just own it, because anything's going to happen to you. But that doesn't mean do not allow your emotions to have an emotion. It's like if it's shock, if it's anger, if it's sadness, if it's fear, let it have it in that moment. It needs to be spent, right? Whenever the time is right, let it spend it. But then let it go. Don't become emotional over the emotion.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that we see so many people become, oh my God, this happened, that happened. And now they're becoming emotional over the emotion. Right?
Mm.
It happened to you. Take a deep breath. You're okay. This is all right. But it almost becomes a platform for them to ride on.
Yeah.
And then constant emotion is at a high peak, and they're not allowing the healing to happen.
Well, what you're highlighting here is your ability to hold space and observe the emotion rather than living in it. And I
Yeah.
think like that's one of the main things I like to do in my meditation. I still meditate an hour a day. I have so for a long time, 6 years or so. And that's my main intention when I
Mm-hmm.
meditate. I'm like, what's here for me to see? What's here for me to feel? What patterns, judgments, insecurities,
Mm-hmm.
fears, like what's coming up? And as I take my action steps towards my heart's calling, stuff comes up. I think it
Yeah.
has to. I think that's part of
Yes.
the healing journey. I think that's why your heart guides you to things that are exciting, is because what you get to see within yourself as you do so. I find so many radical insights, radical transformations for my clients and community members when you simply just allow them the space to
Yes.
say, okay, what are you feeling right now? Okay, let's allow that to be expressed in your body.
Yeah. No
Let's
right or
observe
wrong,
it.
no shame
Yeah,
or blame, right? It
yeah.
just is. Yeah.
Let's observe it in your body. Let's hold space for it. Let's let it do its thing. And you just remain the conscious witness of it. And then you avoid the compounding effect of being angry that you're angry,
Yes.
being
Yes.
sad that you're always sad. You're
Mm-hmm.
compounding the emotions. But more than that, you operate more from the conscious side of you, the
Mm-hmm.
side of you who's more compassionate towards yourself, a lot more aware, a lot more conscious, just really attuned with yourself. And if you can live that way, you access so many different resources within yourself, and
Absolutely.
you get so much more conscious of what your heart's guiding you to. And that's really the main theme here of this interview is the the thread of your life is your heart's guiding you to something. For most people in my world, it is growing a business of some kind and giving your gifts in some way. And it's in stillness where often you have
Yes.
those insights, those nudges, those little
Being present.
those little
Mhm.
guidances. And I think if people listen to that more often, their lives will radically change.
I'm a big promoter of the knowingness. And that is the wisdom that you download, God, universe, spirit, source, whatever you wish to call it, energy, whatever. When it downloads through your soul, in truth, it gives it to your heart in understanding. It's given to your spirit in action for your mind to know what it needs to know, when it needs to know it in clarity. And you can feel it in your body because everything about your chakras line up, everything lines up. It's a wave of peace and understanding going through you, where it is a complete kind of surrender and connection to what is happening. And you know what you need to know when you need to know it, maybe not in its full picture, but what you need to know right now. And it simply is. It simply is. But we have to open up to that soul wisdom, because that wisdom is the clarity that you're asking for in meditation, what you're asking for in stillness, what you're asking for when you're being present with self. It has to come through that soul wisdom. The heart has to feel it, has to make a connection. The spirit needs to go into action, and the mind is just waiting for instruction to have the clarity of knowing what it needs to do when it needs to do it. If we go to mind first, we're going on a database. Yes, but, yes, but, yes, but. No, sit on your butt, take some deep breaths, align with yourself, and just say, I need to know what I need to know, and I'm ready to receive. And then get out of your own way and let it come to you. And it may not come in that moment of meditation, but if you're still open, those channels are still open. You could be on a walk. You could be playing with a pet, a child, you could be reading a book and something jumps out at you. It will come to you when it's ready to come to you. But you have surrendered and asked for that guidance. Right now, get out of head, let the heart, soul, and spirit open up and get ready for the download.
Yeah. And sometimes what you tapped into before, sometimes it does take, for you to receive that, you often have to clear what's not
Oh,
serving you. You have
absolutely.
to clear
Empty the
those
vessel so
patterns.
you can have cleansiness in there. Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of people sit in meditation and the patterns come up that they've been avoiding there for decades. And
Yes.
they're like, that wasn't fun. That wasn't, enjoyable. I didn't get deep and peaceful and
Mhm.
tranquil. And I'm like, well, of course not. Because
It
if you've
takes
been
work to get
avoiding
there.
yourself, you've been avoiding these emotions for years, decades,
Mm.
whatever, as soon as you sit there and you start feeling it, that stuff has to come up. It has to be
Yes.
expressed, whether it's attachments, judgments, fears, insecurities, whatever it is.
Expectations.
It has to be there. But the more you just allow it to do its thing, that's when you start receiving a bit more of, more of whom what you really are. And that is more soul, more source, more spirit,
Hmm.
more, that is peace, tranquil, love, compassion. That's when you start experiencing that more and more often and more organically, even outside your meditations, because you
Exactly.
have that,
You
you
don't
have more
get
access to
here,
it.
from zero, to end. It is, you find what your groove is. Now, I cannot sit and meditate to have ADD. So my head is off going doing something. My meditation is giving my brain a task that I can do mundanely. I don't really need to think. It's just a click, 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 click. And then listening to some music and off I go. Yeah, and I am now opened up and ready to receive. Oh, multidimensional traveling at night, because night is when I really get it. It's knowing what your meditation is. There isn't one meditation that sits all.
Yeah.
But yes, acknowledge what's coming up,
Yeah.
because it's coming up for a reason. You don't realize that your cellular is holding it for so long until it's ready to release. And also, how many times does something come and go, I didn't even know that was attached to me. That's my mom's issue, my dad's issue. Well, that's societal's issue. And you've been carrying it around. And it's like, I release you. Thank you, but I release you. I no longer need you. And how important it is to let go of those old patterns and to actually understand. I've been wearing this heavy coat for so long and I didn't realize it was dragging me down, because when we're unaware, we just don't know what's holding us back. When we're aware, we care. And when we care, we do something about it.
Yeah. And awareness is the biggest piece.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you're aware of something, as soon as you're aware of a pattern, it has less control over you. If if
Exactly.
if you need to make money to feel safe, you need to be successful to feel loved, if you need to be perceived as a good person for you to feel worthy within yourself, as soon as you start to, it's as soon as you notice it and you're aware of that pattern, it's almost like you provide light to it,
Yeah.
and it just starts to heal. It has less
Yeah.
control over you. It has, it starts running the show a little less.
Yes.
Then you have more control over who does. I'm sure many of your audience will know of Debbie Ford, her work. But she does a lot of shadow work, and she uses the analogy of the bus, where if you walk down a big, yellow school bus, you walk down the aisle and you see all these different people sitting down and everything. Imagine you get to the back of the bus. Think about how interesting it is how all these different people are all on this bus. Angry people, sad people, excited people, loving people, tall, skinny, whatever. And then someone says, hey, these are all different sides of you. And it's so true. We have all these different sides of us. The side of you who's angry and pissed off is a completely different person. You have different focus, different language,
Yes.
different memories, different ideas for things, different action steps. You're a different person than when you're tranquil, when you're peaceful, when you're loving. It's a completely different person. So all these sub personalities exist within ourselves. Call them archetypes, whatever it is. But the main question is, who's driving the bus? Who's actually in control? Who's actually in control of the bus? And when we avoid these patterns within ourselves, we avoid these emotions. Often, it's an inner 5-year-old who's scared that if I step out of line, I'm gonna be shunned. If I don't succeed, my mum's not gonna love me. My friends, will disapprove of me, whatever. Often it's an inner 5-year-old who's driving the bus, and they don't have the skills, competencies, or capabilities to lead anywhere with effectiveness or efficiency.
Yeah.
Right? So there's the awareness. As soon as you know there's a 5-year-old driving the bus, you can actually be conscious, give them love and compassion, but lovingly move them to the passenger seat, where a more conscious side of you can drive and lead you where you need to be.
A person I'd like to interview is actually a guy that's wrote the 7-word philosophy, and the thing that he did was study for a long, long time is people and the 7 words that have dictated their lives, that basically have been in the driver's seat unknowingly, and they are formed between kind of the ages of 3 and 6. And am I worthy? Am I loved? Do I have permission? People pleaser, appeasing to other people. And when you're aware of these words, you go, oh my God, yes, I didn't know. And it's always what we don't know. And again, when you know, you can do something about it. I didn't know. And so what he said, when you know, you put them in the back seat. And now you can take the reins of that car. You don't necessarily delete them because they're very much a part of your DNA now, but you don't give them the wheel. Right. And I think that's the thing, is that we need to expose ourselves to, other ways of learning about ourselves as a human DNA, as a spiritual soul. The more we understand who we are, the more we understand why we are and what we're here to do and what's in our way. Now, my generation didn't have permission for any of this. Your generation, the doors are open for you. There are so many wonderful gates open that you can explore and take along. My generation, you didn't talk about this. I've been a spiritual being my entire life, and you just didn't talk about it. People came to you for spiritual advice and then would deny they know you, because everybody was afraid of stigma and persecution or judgment or everything else. Very, very heavy. It's really only in the last 10, 15 years that more and more of this has opened up. And that's because the universe turned up the volume for us all to awaken up to our consciousness. And your generation, which I assume is around my own children's generation, 36 to 42, have got this as a fundamental teaching that you're encouraged to follow. Where in my generation, we weren't encouraged to follow it. It was almost undercurrent. And the permission to place value upon ourselves, the permission to put ourselves first, oxygenate ourselves first, it would be, oh, you're selfish. Who do you think you are? We had so much more to unpack that was imposed upon us. Well, your generation now, it's like, no, I'm not going to have that imposition on me, right? I know more, I know better. I'm not going to take that on. Or if
Mm-hmm.
I find out I have it, who do I go to that can help me release it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I see that as a real gift.
Hmm.
You know, that I get to kind of live my life very consciously to the best of my ability, and that's always unfolding. I know,
Yes,
I know
will be
the
for the rest of your life.
yeah. I'll look back 20 years from now, my life now, and think, what the hell were you doing? You know, there's just going to be some things you look back on, but you're not aware of, simply not aware of it.
Exactly.
So,
Hindsight
and that's all.
2020.
Yeah, that's all fine too. But
Hmm.
it is, I love that, you know, this is becoming more mainstream, more
Yes.
conscious to say, look, your heart's guiding you to something. You're not made just to work in a factory
Hmm.
and, you know,
Or a mundane corporate job where nobody
yeah,
appreciates you. Yeah.
yeah, you're not called to a life where you're giving away your power consistently.
Hmm.
You're on this journey where you're reclaiming your power and using that for something that is more loving, more towards your growth, more towards contribution. And anytime we focus on those things, it just, you know, spirit takes over. If you every day you're focusing more on how am I loving more deeply, how can I grow myself, and how can I contribute, you know, to something that's meaningful, it's
It
like
becomes the compass,
your
right?
your patterns fall away.
Mm.
Your patterns of fear or insecurities and doubts and
Yeah.
things. It's like they fall away because you're valuing something that's more towards a spiritual need. It's more towards your spiritual growth. And I think anyone who asks themselves those questions in the morning, and even if you just place your focus towards anything
Yeah.
that's towards more love, more growth, more contribution, there's magic takes over. I can't
But
explain.
as I said, it becomes the compass. It becomes the GPS that we follow, right? Because we can trust it. The old cliche, love is all.
Mm,
Because love is higher consciousness. When you're in that higher consciousness, you can't knowingly hurt someone else. To do so will hurt you. And so you do not commit harm to the best of your knowledge. And the more we understand, oh no, that is not serving somebody. Oh, that is a negative serving. Even though I've always done it, I know better. So I know now how to redirect and change it so that it is more encompassing and maybe doesn't hurt somebody, because we don't hurt people normally intentionally unless we're the wounded child and full of vengeance and narcissism and out to punish everybody for your own misery. Everything in our life is for us to heal. It is for us to discover. It is for us to ignite. That's part of our journey in becoming, not blaming and not making other people pay for it. And so when we do know better, we do better. And you're going to find, I'm 70, you're going to find all the way along your decades. God, I wish I'd known that earlier. But
yeah.
now you do better now. And for a lot of people will say, but this is under a business show. How does this work? Because your business is going to be successful as you are successful within yourself,
Mhm.
right? Your business is going to serve your clients and your people for the most that where you are the most true and honest and authentic to yourself, because now you can honestly and deeply serve in whatever way you are serving, from a place of understanding, of compassion, of ability, and of encompassing. It isn't about the agenda. It is about the embracement of your client and how best to serve them, because you've known how to do that by serving yourself.
Yeah, we're all in the world of business. We're always called to certain big decisions: how to
Mm-hmm.
market yourself, how to explain what you do,
Mm-hmm.
who to serve. You know, what platform do you want to build? You have to build something to allow, you know, new people to come into your world. That can all be guided by what's in your highest excitement,
Mm-hmm.
and you do have to face some things within yourself in order to
Yes.
do that, to be more honest, authentic, vulnerable, you know, to be more creative, more passionate, more determined, more all these different things. And that journey of building something will be successful when as you're saying, when you are your most resourceful self. There's nothing you can't solve with the right level of resourcefulness. You can't, there's no problem you can't solve without the right patience, creativity, passion, determination, focus, love, self-compassion. You can solve whatever, and therefore you
Yeah.
can solve many, many things for other people. It's
Yes.
just you can't, it's very, very hard to be your most resourceful self when you're not doing the inner work. But
The
it is true.
oxygenate yourself first, right?
Yeah.
You've got to be
Yeah.
full in order to share. You can't share from an empty space.
Yeah. Yeah. And those guidance, that guidance in terms of marketing, business growth, I always just encourage people just follow what feels most
Mm.
exciting to your heart and soul, because any strategy can work. People are
Yes.
succeeding on YouTube, people are succeeding on TikTok, people are
Hmm.
succeeding doing podcasting, people are succeeding doing Facebook groups, people are succeeding doing in-person summits, online summits. The strategy itself, that anything can work. The real question is, are you being authentic with your voice and authentic
Mm.
with your communication? And are you actually following that heart's guidance to give your true gifts, to actually serve the people you feel called to serve, and give that gift that's flowing through you compared to what you might maybe even expected by other people or
Hmm.
be taught by a business coach that says this is the way, you have to do it this
Yeah.
way, even though it's against what you truly feel is authentic. So they're the things to think about when you're actually putting something together and putting it out there and trying to find success doing what you love.
That's what the serving circle is about, isn't it? It's a
Yeah.
gathering of people that are coming from the heart and soul, that have truly stepped into their calling, and that are here with their services to help others ignite their own heart and soul and meaningful purpose. At the same time, to also support and to build camaraderie. In looking at the circle, there's quite a number of people I've interviewed, I know, that are in that circle. Crystal Hill being one, the publisher. She actually published our book last year. And and the reason I went with her over other people was because for her it is a passion. She wants your heart and soul message to resonate with the reader in a way that it will ignite something in them. It's not just about getting out another book and publishing it next. It's about connection,
Mhm.
connection, mind, heart, body, soul, the whole of us, and being authentic and being truthful and really putting something out that really is going to make people feel, full stop, feel, not just think, feel the thoughts, but feel. And
Mhm.
you want to deal with people in business like that because you want to know they care, they're interested and vested in what you're doing. They want to serve you to be the best you can be.
Mhm. Yeah, and I will mention the people in the serving circle. I encourage everyone to follow their heart's calling, but it
Hmm.
needs to be mentioned that also people are still figuring that out.
Yes.
We're all unfolding, because I ask people what the best value is in the group, and it's a very engaging group. We're getting 3,500 members. We get thousands of pieces of engagement every month, and people are so engaging,
Hmm.
so dedicated to help each other. It's really, really cool. And one of the best um, ways people gain value, they say, is the energy of it. They can
Yes.
actually feel on a call, on a collaborative call or event that we run, that they feel the compassion people have. They can feel the desire to help each other. And they said
Hmm.
to not feel alone on this journey and to actually have a community they can rely on is really important. And I think um, as you unfold on the journey, you're figuring things out, whether it is you're not too sure of what your business is or where it's going or how to market yourself or decisions to be made around money and pricing and these sort of things. To have a community that you can actually brainstorm with, share resources, collaborate, with joint ventures and referral partnerships, it gives you that boost. It gives
Yeah.
you that knowing that, okay, this is forever unfolding. I don't have to have it all figured out. And in
Hmm.
fact, everyone's on a similar journey that's just, helping each other along the way. Uh,
Exactly.
yeah.
There is no rah, rah, rah. There is no push. It's all invitational. And, you know, I always say that inspiration begets invitation. When you're inspired by somebody, they're inviting you to either inquire more or to look at something that within inside of you that's being ignited. But you want that inspiration to be that invitation on whatever level that invitation is, because that's what it's about. Your journey is inspirational to somebody that's on their journey, whatever level they're at. And knowing that you made this journey and this is where you are, at peace and at one with yourself, and loving what you're doing and why you're doing it and whom you're doing it for. Everybody that really is truly honest with themselves wants to be at that space, wants to be at this wonderful place where you'll get up every day, no matter what, to do what you do because you love what you're doing and the impact that it's having. It's not about the 10 figures. It's not about popularity, not about the millions of followers. It's about the connections. It's about the impact that you're having with your truth, with your essence. And when you're there to support each other and refer each other and just boost each other up and celebrate each other, the community, it's like the village is only as good as each other's contribution. And so you're building a village here and villages, because it's all around the world, where people can be there for each other. And, you know, you look at the Mormons, when somebody is going to put up, when they get married, they put up a barn. Everybody comes to put that barn up. When somebody has a crisis, everybody's there. When somebody's celebrating something, everybody's there. These are tips that we can take out of this book and be there for each other in inquiry, in support, in celebration, in just communication and friendship.
Definitely. And one of the things, Bronnie, we also mentioned in terms of the 5 regrets of the dying is many of them said, I wish I worked less.
Yes.
I wish I spent time with the ones I loved more. You know, it's those relationships. It's
Yes.
the relationships matter most. And you know, I noticed a lot of that the last few years. I was living away from family and noticed I was in a intimate relationship with that wasn't working. And I'm like, there's such a a deep level of knowing after that what matters are the people you're around, you know,
Yeah.
the relationships you build and the people that you're around consistently, that it enriches your soul, you know,
Yes.
it just
They're
is.
your fuel.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
I was away from my friends and family, and it's only 8 months ago where I decided to, end that relationship that wasn't working and move back to where my friends and family are. And everything's like, things just start flowing. I start feeling more of myself again, really starting to feel like there's more enrichment with my life and more purpose, more meaning, and things just start flowing. Ideas come to me, business starts flowing really nicely again. There's other creative endeavors that I'm following, and this things unfolding.
You're in your alignment.
Yeah, it's so aligned, very, very
Yeah.
aligned. And I think anyone can find that. Anyone can think about, okay, how can I get more around the people that give me meaning, give me purpose, allow that depth of life? And most people find that within the serving circle. But I
Yeah.
encourage anyone within family members they haven't talked to in a long time, deep friends that they, have grown out of contact with or whatever, or even if it's just go down to your, local shelter and just be of service to the people who are in need.
Exactly.
Those things are so fulfilling.
About 14 months ago, I moved to where I am now, and it's actually my beautiful daughter and her husband bought me a place to be closer to them, so I'm closer to the grandchildren. And so I only work 3 days a week, and then 2 days I've got my little grandboys, which wear me out. There's a third boy on the way, so 3 boys beating me up. I waited till 66 to become a grandmother. I want to see them grow. I want to be a part of their life. I want to absorb the beautiful essence of who they are. But I was working like 8 days a week beforehand. And it's like, I don't need to do that. I can do, I don't need to do 8, 9 shows a week. I can do 4 or 5. That's fine. I do them in the 3 days. And that's it. And then I enjoy the family and I also take some time for me. And that balance enriches you more. It gives you the balance and the alignment so that you can pay attention to the messages that are coming to you. Taking a breath. Even there are days that, unless I have a commitment to a show, it is, I have all this admin to do today. And I look at the computer and it says, no, you're just going to listen to music today. You're not going to do anything else. This is what you need. We need to fuel you. And so I would just listen to music and mindlessly do something while I'm listening to music, and I'll walk away feeling, I feel back within myself again. If we're so busy chasing, we're not listening. And if we're not listening, we're going to take the wrong steps.
Mm. Yeah, and what I enjoy is combining different passions and skills, because I think even if you're not quote unquote working,
Mm-hmm.
it serves you in so many ways,
Oh, God,
including
yes.
financially.
Yes.
If you're listening to music, like for example, if you're out listening to music and you're enjoying nature and you're walking, so you're getting your exercise, fresh air,
Mm-hmm.
sunlight, inspiring music while you feel connected, you're doing your meditation, whatever. There's so many benefits in that, all in like
Yes.
one half an hour.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause me, I love golf, as I mentioned, and takes, anywhere between an hour and a half, 2 hours to, just pot around the golf course. Um, that's a long time, but I use that as time for creativity, creative thinking. Sometimes I'm listening to a
Contemplation.
podcast,
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing a meditation. It's so grounding to just be in nature like that. I'm doing breath exercises. Sometimes I'm with family or socializing with friends as well, which is really meaningful. Um, there's so many, there's so many meaningful things I can incorporate in that exercise that is really creative, and anyone can do that. Anyone
Yeah.
can combine different creativity.
Yes.
I have clients who love hiking,
Mm-hmm.
who love going on adventure, doing adventure walks and things in nature, and they just started inviting clients. They started
Mm-hmm.
inviting collaborators and tribe members and things to go on hikes with them. Sometimes they turn it into a bit of a program where they have an intention to start with, and they go on the journey of with them of guiding people through while they're walking
Yes.
and stuff. I'm like, you're combining so many things that are good for you, things that you enjoy, things that are healthy, and mixing it in with business and friendships and these sort of things.
Exactly. And what a better way to do it. And please do not underestimate how nature speaks to you.
Mhm.
The wind rustling through the leaves of the trees, they're speaking to your subconscious all the time. The ocean kissing the shore, the conduit of that water that is connecting you. The
Mhm.
wind itself clearing away the cobwebs, walking on the earth and feeling her, although she's pretty pissed with us at the present moment. Send her love. Don't keep sending her for your problems. Okay. Send her some love. And then, watching children chasing something, or a dog chasing a stick,
Mhm.
people walking hand in hand, all of those things will bring a smile to you, that will lift your heart, that will calm you, that will feed you. And you'll come back from it feeling so fortified, like your soul and heart has had a wonderful meal.
Mhm. That's what's needed.
It's so needed. So there's so many ways we can do it. Solo, we can go for a meditative walk. We can go for a walk with people. We can go and commit our sports for things. We can choose work that's something we've always wanted to do, but denied ourselves because we followed the should instead of the desire. Um, but also, like with the circle, is just take some time to cruise all the messages there. Don't
Mm.
forget to be interactive, respond, share, be supportive, because it's not about just click, click, like. It's not about just you taking, it's about you supporting and contributing. And do not think you don't have anything to contribute. Maybe you're not on your path right now in the sense of where you want to go, what you want to do. You're looking for that inspiration. You can say, I feel like a virgin on this path at the present moment. I'm putting one foot in front of the other. I'm looking for inspiration that will help me discover where I'm going. Honesty with where you're at, who you are, what it is you're to do. The greatest gift you can share with yourself and with others is your vulnerability. But that's the biggest thing that people fear.
Yeah. Some of the best shares during our collaboration calls are people who are just they raise their hand like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm very
Yeah.
inspired by everyone that's here.
Yeah.
I have a calling to do X, Y, and Z. Don't know how the hell I'm going to do it. It brings up a lot of fear within me,
Mhm.
but hearing all your stories and your shares is inspiring me to do X, Y, and Z. Like someone who's just, they don't have the perfect elevator pitch. They don't
No.
have the perfect, way to articulate what they do and how they do it. But they're just like show up. They're like, this is who I am. This is where I'm at. These are the struggles I'm having. And everyone rallies around them. And from that, they find answers and they find ways to move forward in meaningful action steps. But it starts with that vulnerability and honesty. And
Hmm.
that's the kind of thing we're after is that level of just being truthful, being connected, being authentic with yourself, because I find so much more there's so much more ways we can collaborate and help each other
Yeah.
when we're at that place, rather than trying to have this perfect pitch and you know
Yeah.
understanding of
And,
our business.
the thing of, about that is that even in business, you might just be a solopreneur and have a small business that you're doing because it comes from the heart. You're not looking for the big accolades or the big money or the big that. It's just where your service is at. Or maybe you're starting a business that is going to grow because suddenly you're seeing, what is needed, and the expansion is your purpose. It's a lot of people when they hear business, oh, marketing and this and that, this is what you should do. Your finances, this and that. You'll only be good if you have this money for blah, 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 blah. But I want you to take all of that away,
Mm.
right? Everything has its place in its own time for its own reason. But if you don't understand the reason of why you want to do it, if you don't have the understanding of what it is you got to share, if you don't know who it's going to benefit, if you're not really connected to it, you're really not in business. You're just doing something. We want you to be your business, that people can meet you at the beach, at the boardroom, you know, um, wherever, and whatever hat you're wearing, t-shirt or suit, if anybody wears suits anymore, and be the same person. That your energy signature is the same no matter where they get to meet you, right? Because that authenticity is what's going to make them be drawn to you and what you do. And even if they don't need your business, they're so connected to you, they're going to refer you, right? This is a great person. You've got to meet them. They're doing this great job. I don't know if you need it, but yeah, hey, man, just listen,
Mm.
right? And that's what it is. That's where that support, that collaboration comes along. Don't just sit back, me, myself, and I. It's all about the we.
It's definitely a team effort.
Yeah.
The business journey is a team effort, and the more people you can have around you that you like, know, and trust, that support you, help you. I mean, I've been doing men's work for a couple of years now. When I started facing a lot of people pleasing patterns, in
Hmm.
relationships and things, and just being able to get on calls with three other guys every 2 weeks and just
Yes.
share what's going on, share your challenges, share your
Mhm.
what's coming up for you in terms of feelings and stories and stuff. It's so beneficial, so
Yeah.
beneficial. Just having
Sounding
people in
board,
the corner.
right? Sounding board.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I had this lovely word which was introduced to me a few years ago about being flawsome. We don't get through life without having some flaws or cracking up or breaking up, just like the Japanese bowl that they put back together with gold. I'm saying take every single one of these people. You haven't failed. You're not broken. Put your pieces back together with self-love. Now
Mm-hmm.
fill that bowl up with love and let it runneth over, and it'll be the purest love that you can ever give.
Mm.
But be
Definitely.
flawsome.
Yeah, I like that. I've never heard of that before.
It's a lovely word. I love it. You
Yeah,
know,
feeling that one.
but the whole thing is business. It's about connection. Connection to why you're doing it. Connection, does it come from the heart and the soul? The connection to whom it serves, the connection to who benefits from it, connection of community that can support you. Even if you're a solopreneur, you can't wear all of the hats. Trust me, I've tried and my neck gets very, very wobbly. There are times you need somebody that's better at it because that's their calling. So
Mhm.
then it is, spreading your wings and doing business with other people that support your business and you're supporting their business. There's the village, there's the spider's web. It's all about connection. And when we greet each other openly, inquiringly, and from the heart, everybody benefits. Nobody loses. Whether you're doing business or just being inspired or you're just simply connecting, everybody wins.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. That win-win is what we look for. You know, we look for those collaborations, those win-wins where we're all lifting each other up. And if
Yeah,
we're all lifting each other up and our businesses benefit as a byproduct of that, I feel we're doing our job.
exactly. So whom do you serve as, in the business coaching? Are there a particular demographic that you serve?
Well, people in the serving circle are those who really have a mission to heighten consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So I typically in my coaching business, I've been full time for 5.5 years now. I typically serve that niche, those who
Yeah.
really have that heart's calling to heighten consciousness, to spread awareness, whether they're a coach, a practitioner, a healer,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it may be. Even as a byproduct, their business does help people evolve in some way. They're the ones who really sign up to my programs where I walk them through every step along the way, how to integrate their passion, their spirit, with their messaging, their marketing, creating offers, creating programs, and building an audience, especially those who feel called to build a
Yeah.
community that's similar to mine. That's really what I've built the expertise in.
And with the serving circle, we have the Facebook serving circle here on your show page. Um, but it is kind of a referral, isn't it? It is kind of inviting someone in. This isn't about somebody coming in and pitching their business or, trying to grab a few people for their own. It is about coming from the heart, soul, spirit, intent, raising that consciousness, which for me is my entire platform right now, is raising that consciousness. The only way we're going to heal the human race and the only way we're going to heal the planet is raising our consciousness on absolutely everything we do and everything we are. And
Yeah.
the more we support that, we create a chorus, we create an orchestra. And the more and more people come together with that higher consciousness, it resonates and transcends out. So if you're looking to score business, really, that's not a place for you. But if you're looking to come and share your heart, your soul and your spirit and make a connection that is a higher level, then this is the place to come.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I very rarely, promote it, the serving circle. That's not my main intent. My main intent is to add value to the existing members. And, that's always been my intent. The serving circle's grown a lot. And I think, and it remains very engaging. I think for that very reason is because people tend to invite those of their friends and those who are aligned because they do find a lot of value in the community. And it's my job when someone invites a friend, it's my job to make sure that friend comes back to them and thanks them for inviting them. That's really my main intent.
Yeah.
And so
You're the
probably,
conductor in this orchestra.
yeah, I try my best, but the fact people find security and comfort in inviting friends is a blessing to me. I don't take that lightly, and I make sure that anyone in there can gain as much benefit as they can.
Remember, folks, whatever we do for work, whatever we do in business, it's got to come from the heart and the soul. Your spirit has got to be in it. It's got to be something you're doing because it means something to you. It isn't a paycheck. It isn't about a notch in the belt. It's serving other people. As a human race, we're all here to contribute. Whether you're the janitor or the CEO, we're all here to contribute. We're all here to be of service to one another. What is your gift that you can bring to the table that others can partake from that benefits them, and vice versa? Whose dish can you eat from that's going to help you? Because that's how you build a village. That's how you build strength. That's how you support each other. And that's how we rise up to a higher consciousness.
Well said. Very well said.
So people want to reach out to you. They have a business, and a lot of people that have stepped into heart, soul, and spirit business, it's, they may have even come from corporate. You can't do things the corporate way. There are some tools and skills that you can use. It is a different approach. And for many of them, well, I've got this heart, soul centered business, but I don't know how to present it. So do you help people on that level?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I definitely help people with their messaging and their marketing. Once you have a lot of people start with the strategy,
Mm,
you, but there's a lot of missing pieces. Like I
yeah,
said before, any strategy can work. What matters most is your own energy and resourcefulness. Then next, what matters most is your messaging and your marketing. Because if your messaging is correct, where it's very clear and compelling, and it's from your heart, then that's really what connects with people. And if you have an irresistible offer where it's no brainer for someone,
yeah,
and then you're getting that out in front of the right amount of people and the people that are really resonating, then you can just choose any strategy that your heart really guides you to and that feels most exciting. And that's sort of how you build something that's sustainable instead of trying to find the next shiny strategy that's going
yeah,
to get you the 1 million followers in 3 days. That doesn't
yeah.
tend to work.
Through the years, I've had those people. They're few and far between now. It is people that are coming from a baseline of it's meaningful. It's coming from a baseline that's heartfelt, whatever business they're doing. And, really is about that consciousness. Um, and, people that have stepped into that truly do then understand what they're here for, the gift that they've been given, whom they're meant to share it with. And they step into it in a way that is quite divine, really quite divine. But sometimes it is a different strategy to what you've known before. It is a different way of marketing. It is a different way of presenting. And it can be, for some people, at a loss. Obviously, then go into the serving circle or talk to a lot of people and gain a lot of insights. But for people who are starting out, or just kind of struggling a bit, or like, I just don't know where to take this. My heart and soul's in it, but where do I go with it? They need someone like you that's just going to give them the right skills and tools to apply to what they're doing because you understand their platform.
Mm. Yeah, and people can gain a lot of momentum. I jump on quick calls with people in the serving circle to just do a brainstorm,
Mm-hmm.
or a soundboarding call where we just brainstorm ideas, and I'll connect them with other people in the serving circle that
Mm-hmm.
they can collaborate with. Maybe give them some platforms to speak on. Send them some resources. I've got complimentary courses that people can take for being a serving circle member. There's so many things that are complimentary for being in there. I really like to have it present as it's almost like a paid community, even though it's
Right.
for free.
Yeah.
And so that's how I operate. And so anyone who wants to have just a brainstorm or get on a quick chat to be of support and come up with some new ideas, fresh ideas that are going to inspire them, I'm always up for that. And then obviously connecting them with whoever they feel will boost them on their journey as well.
And of course, you're in Melbourne, Australia, but you work with people no matter where in the world. The only thing you're going to be doing is looking at the time difference,
Yeah.
and have to arrange your time no matter where anybody is. But, with this wonderful thing called Zoom, you can work with people anywhere in the world. And once you've gained an energy signature, it doesn't matter whether it's thousands of miles away or next door or in front of you, you've gained the signature. And that's the connection that is made there. And, sometimes the biggest thing is people don't know what they don't know and they don't know what they need. And again, back to that awareness as we become aware, old patterns or thoughts or this or that. It's the same with, well, I thought I needed this and I thought I needed that. And they don't know what it is they truly do need. And just, that either brainstorming or you're guiding them along the way, that is what it's about. You want to see them succeed, and them succeeding is going to benefit the community in itself.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, most of the people in the serving circle are from North America, very heavy percentage. Then there's a, smaller percentage from Australia, but people from all over.
Exactly.
It's
Like
very
me too.
interesting. Yeah.
Predominantly America, but around the world. So yeah, and that's the way it is, Have internet, will travel.
Yeah.
So if they're interested in the coaching and they want to get to know you, how do they reach out to you? Also the Facebook and your podcasts. Tell us about your podcast, all the links that people need.
Yeah, we'll definitely join the serving circle. That's how you kind of find me. But if you go to the link tree, there'll be ways to connect with me. Emails. My email is Tyson@TysonCoaching.com. I always respond there for people who find that the easiest way. But reach out to me on Facebook, on social media. There's easy ways we can connect and then get to know each other.
And of course, if you go to Linktree and just put in Tyson Sharpe, TYSONSHARPE, you will see his Awaken podcast, YouTube, Facebook profile, Serving Circle, Instagram, and of course his contact will be up there. But you can also just go directly to TysonCoaching.com. And of course, Awaken Your Business podcast, which he does many of them there as well. So it's whichever way you want to get hold of them. But, come and look at the Serving Circle and, see what's there. And if you feel that, you could belong to this, remember, this isn't about you kind of pitching yourself in there. It's about connection. It's about support. It's about caring. And it's about that consciousness. Do you feel that you have a conscious rising and you really want to do something meaningful and purposeful? This is the place to be. But remember also, it requires you to also be interactive, participate, because that's how people get to know you. That's how you get to know other people. And that's what it's about, community, right?
That's it. Spot on.
Thank you so much for sharing here today. It's absolute delight. And I know you're at the beginning of your day and I'm coming to the end of my day here. But, again, it's just time, it's just distance. But really, when it comes down to it, we are all connected. Every single one of us. It's all a question of what frequency are we resonating on. And and what vibe, wavelength, vibe length, and all of that we're working with. And of course, we want to be with our vibe tribe. We want to be with people that are on the same wavelength. And so the Serving Circle is about a higher conscious folks. So you want to be there, raise your conscience, and come on over, and see what it's all about. So thank you, Tyson, so much for being with us here today.
Thank you. Pleasure. Thanks for the invite. Appreciate it.
Most big pleasure. Big pleasure. I love to see your age group doing this, because it was many of my age group took the redirect, the cosmic 2x4, and followed this path. But to see your age group embracing it so easily and openly and honestly is the hope for the future. So, we need to ignite more souls, folks. So get ignited and lift up your consciousness and let's make this world a better place. So until next time, bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. There are so many more for you here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Just go to the podcast tag at the top there and you will see all the many genres and all 3,000 shows ready for your listening. We are here to serve you, to help you on your journey of life, and we know that through inspiration, it begets invitation. We are supported by you, the listeners, and those that we interview. Anything that you can spare us in donation would be greatly accepted, and we do hope that you enjoy the next show.